Hello, movie lovers. How's everybody today? I came across something in my old brain. Thought about sad movies. You know, movies that you watch and they make you cry. Don't tell me you don't cry. I do. You know why? Because I'm a sap. A sentimental sap. Sometimes you can watch a movie over and over and over again. You watch a movie 10 times. And every freaking time, without fail, it makes you cry. Either you cry, bawl your eyes out, or you get tears in your eyes. I can't help it. No. So I'm going to talk about 5 movies, just to get your interest. Now, the grumpy old gentleman on film wants to get on this. Mike, Rick, Jay, Harry, Sir Ian from Wales, and they talk about sad movies. What 5 movies do you guys have, or you watch, that make you cry? If you do cry. Come on, you cry. Everybody cries. Like me. But I've always cried watching movies. Couldn't help it. If I can get caught up. Sometimes I'll watch a movie and I'm like a fly on a wall. You know, or you're over there sitting on the chair in a room. Same thing, that's the same thing I do when I read a book. I can put myself into that book. I'm the fly on the wall in that book. I'm in that room with those people. You know, I get totally involved. So I'm going to talk about 5 movies. The first movie I'm going to talk about, I don't have it, I never brought it out, but it's The Fightin' Sullivans. The Fightin' Sullivans. Yeah, starring Thomas Mitchell and Ann Baxter. Well, everybody else. This movie starts off when they get married and they have kids. Right? He works for the railroad line, and she stays at home. She's the mom. Anyway, they have 6 kids. They have 5 boys and a girl. Half the movie is when the boys are together and they're young, and they do what boys do, get in fights, etc. And then the other half of the movie is when they're older, and they join the army, the Navy, I should say. They join the Navy. This whole thing is a spoiler, so if you don't want to watch it, shut it off now. The Fightin' Sullivans, 5 brothers join the Navy, and they all die at the end of the movie. Their ship gets destroyed, torpedo, boom, it's all over. Just like that, boom. Right? And the sergeant, Ward Bond, played by Ward Bond, gets to go to their house, sits down and tells them which one died. And he tells them they all died. That makes you bawl your eyes out. Yep. Sad. Cry. You just bawl your eyes out. And that's The Fightin' Sullivans. The other movie, second movie, is this one. I got this one because it's set here. On Borrowed Time, 1939. Good year for movies. On Borrowed Time, starring Lionel Barrymore, Sir Cedric Hardwicke, and Bella Bondi. And Bob Watson as Pud. They're old. They're old. He's staying with his grandmother and grandfather while his mom and dad take a trip in a car. Car goes off the side of the road down the hill. Mom and dad's dead. Mr. Brink got them. I think his name's Brink. Anyway, death, right? Then now Pud gets to stay with his grandfather. Him and his grandfather get together. Great. They go fishing and stuff. They have a great time. Grandma's always yelling at Grandpa, "Don't be saying those words in front of Pud. He doesn't need to hear that stuff." Anyway, Mr. Brink comes and gets Grandma. She's laying in bed. She's tired. Mr. Brink tells Grandma, "Come with me. Come with me." She goes with Mr. Brink. Now it's Grandpa and Bud. Right? They're together. And Mr. Brink shows up and wants Grandpa to go with him. He says, no, he can't go. He doesn't want to go. He has to look after Pud. Mr. Brink wants Grandpa to go with him. No. So anyway, earlier they made a wish together, Grandpa and grandson, but yeah, hey Grandpa, that's a wish. So you can have any wish you want. So Grandpa makes a wish that if anybody steals an apple out of the apple tree, he won't be able to get down until he tells him to get down. So Mr. Brink comes to get Grandpa, and Grandpa tells him, oh, before I go, you want to get me an apple from the tree? So Mr. Brink climbs up and gets an apple. Grandpa laughs his head off. Now you can't come down. Well, Mr. Brink can't come down. He can't leave the tree. He's stuck in the tree. So nobody dies. Nobody dies. Nobody. In the hospitals, nothing. Flies, insects, bugs, nothing dies. Right? So that can't go on forever, for a long time. So the doctor tries to tell Grandpa that, you know, they think he's crazy, you know, you gotta get, you know, Bud out of here. So their aunt wants to get him because, you know, he's got money now, Bud, right? Pud, I should say Pud. That's, I call him Bud, I don't know why I call him Pud, right? Anyway, what happens? Yeah. Grandpa lets Mr. Brink death down from the apple tree. Before that happens, of course, Pud climbs up on the fence. He falls off the fence. He's talking to Mr. Brink. Mr. Brink talking to him. He falls off the fence. Not in great shape. He's wrecked. He's broke every bone in his body. The little guy's in bad pain and everything. So Grandpa goes out and says, take me away, make Pud better. So anyway, they both are outside in the backyard, and Mr. Brink comes along, asks Grandma or Grandpa, it's time to go, and he takes Pud with him. So Grandpa gets up out of his rocking chair carrying Pud, and Pud gets put down on the ground, and they both walk off with Mr. Brink. And they hear Grandma's voice. That's sad. That's unborrowed time. It's all spoilers today, people. I gotta go faster. Make way for tomorrow is Victor Moore and Bill Abonde, 1937. Two old people live in a house. Well, he hasn't worked for a few years, so now he loses his house. He calls his children home, most of them, and he tells them. So the children say, well, you know, it's hard for the both of them to go live with somebody, you know, one of the kids. Kids got no room, they got no room. So the thing is, one grandma goes and lives with her son, which is Thomas Mitchell, that he was in the Fighting Sullivans, was the dad. She goes and lives with him, and the father goes and lives with his other daughter. But anyway, none of the kids can take the both of them, right? They got no room. They can't take the mom and dad together, so the mom and dad are separated between two places. And they get to the end of the movie, now like I say, spoiler alert, they go into town, they see each other for the last time. Yeah, they get to go have dinner together and dance and stuff, and at the end of the movie, he gets on a train and heads out to California, where his other daughter is. It's good for Grandpa, it's good for his health. And Grandma stays back. They don't see each other again. And that's Make Way for Tomorrow. The Fighting Sullivans are on YouTube, as far as I understand. The movie, you can watch that. The other movie is A Farewell to Arms, 1932. Gary Cooper and Helen Hayes. That's on YouTube also. You can watch it on YouTube. It takes place in World War I, the big war, right? He's an ambulance driver, as far as I understand. She's a nurse. So they start seeing each other. Well, the other guy, the major, what's his name? Aldo Menjo? That guy, everybody, he's in a lot of movies. Anyway, he gets a little jealous and he sends the nurse to a different area, near the front and that. So Gary Cooper ends up meeting her again, right, near the front and stuff like that. But at the end of the movie, she's in the hospital. She's laying in bed. He goes in and sees her, sits down beside her, and they talk and stuff, and she ends up dying. She doesn't want to die. She wants to stay there and be with him. So she ends up dying. That one makes you cry. That's another sad movie. Bawling your eyes out. Just bawling your eyes out. And another movie, newer movie, Terrible Alarms, did I say 1932? That's on YouTube. I think I might have said that. And a newer one that, there's all kinds of movies that make you bawl. So there's a newer one here from 2008, and it's The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. David Thewlis and Vera Farmiga. She's in a lot of movies too. Conjuring movies, I think Conjuring. But yeah, she's been in a lot of movies. So their mom and dad, and this little boy, right, and stuff, and he gets sent to a bigger spot. He's moving up in the German army. He gets sent to this new area. So the little boy wants to know why he's moving and stuff, and she tries to tell him that, it's her father's job and stuff and work, and, the kid's 8 years old. What the fuck does he know, right? So he goes off, ends up in this big house, and out of his bedroom window, he can see a farm over there. And he asked his mom and dad why are there so many people working over there in that farm with the striped pajamas with the stripes on? So anyway, one day he goes out and he starts exploring. He comes across the metal fence, and there's a little guy in there with stripes on pajamas. He starts talking to him, and they start playing chess together, or checkers, between the fence, right? The little German boy's got the checker set, and the little Jewish boys in there, right, on the fence, and they see each other all the time. They visit and talk and chat and stuff. And one day, the little Jewish guy says he has to go. So the little German boy ends up crawling under the fence and visits the Jewish boy, and they round them all up. The Germans round everybody up and starts putting them in line, and they start going to the gas lines. They get gassed. So the little German boy's in line with the little Jewish boy and stuff, and they're walking towards the pit, not the pit, but the place where the gas is and stuff. And you're watching this and you're bawling your eyes out. Right, of course, the German mother, Verna Farmiga, right, wonders where her son is. She starts running out towards the fence and starts looking for her son, and no, he's gone. He's gassed. He's getting ready to be put in the furnace. And that movie's sad. Even though most of the actors speak in English, English, right, language. A lot of movies do that. You can't take that into consideration. Germans speaking English. So many movies are made. It's the way it is. But that movie, you bawl your eyes out. You just sit there and just bawl your eyes out. And that's 5 movies that made me bawl my eyes out. Now, you any grumpy old gentleman want to get involved in this, you can talk about the movies that make you sad, or they make you cry, or they make you bawl your eyes out. So there you go. And anybody else, for that matter, right? That wants to talk about movies that get them upset or cry or, bawl. I do. I admit it. I can sit here and watch a movie and bawl my eyes out. So there you go, people. Get on the wagon, start talking about the movies that make you sad or bawl your eyes out. Later. Keep watching those movies.